Hi, welcome back to Forward Cycling in Southampton. As I say far too often, sorry for the delay on the video output. And if you've been keen on watching our bike builds, it's been a long time since we've had one out. Don't panic if we're not doing videos. It's because we're flat out in the shop doing servicing and other stuff and just struggling to find the time to get the videos done. We have got some special bikes today to show you. If you've noticed there, I did say bikes in plural. So we're going to do two videos. This is of the first build. In sequence, actually, it's build 54. The other one, which is behind the curtain, is 53. But I'll put the videos up in the correct order. I'm muddling my way through this, as you can tell. I have not done a video for a while. Anyway, let's just keep rolling the camera. So this is a new collaboration with the Handmade Cyclist. And what we're doing is custom bike designs based on his artwork. I will let Neil explain more so in his own video and on social media how it'll work. But the basics of it is that any of his designs, if you like his artwork and stuff, he can do a design for a bike, and then we then can make the bike for you. So a full custom build with a custom paintwork. So this is a top secret build that I've been working on for a long time. I ordered the frame absolutely months ago, and then the frames come in, and then we've been waiting for the design to be finalized and then have the paintwork done. So this one is for Jenny. So Jenny rides bikes. If anyone's following her on social media, you should see this bike come up soon. We're going to do a presentation of it tomorrow for her. It's going to be a total surprise. God knows how I've kept it secret, but it has been secret. So one of her idols was a British rider called Beryl Burton, and this is the Handmade Cyclist Beryl Burton design, and it's based on the artwork that he has done. Like, he's done some mugs, espresso cup, and some fine art prints which you can get. I'll put a link in the video description of all the artwork. I will give you a full walkthrough of the frame, and then as always we'll do a full walkthrough of the spec. And this was based on a fit that I did with Jenny, and I managed to do a top secret fit. So I was just testing the version 2 of our new bike fitting software, and then managed to get a fit out of her to base this new build on. So this is her fit, and then when we get to the stem, I'll talk about what I've done there and what I've chosen to do with the stem. So rather than me rattle on, which I've done for nearly 3 minutes, let's talk about the paintwork start, which is the star of the show, and then we'll get into the bike spec and then talk you through that as well. So the bike is one of our Forwards one, should I say. So this is a Forwards 1 road bike. This is the smallest size, so this is the extra small. And I'll just go through. There are some design characteristics actually which James noticed yesterday when we were doing a video call about the build. And there's some little tweaks and stuff which you can see which are a bit different on the frame because it's so tiny in comparison to mine and his and all of the other builds that we've done, for example. So let's stop waffling. We'll get to the front of the frame, and then we'll talk you through the paintwork and how it's done. So all the collaboration builds, if you've seen the one we did a little while ago, the competition prize with Bicmo, that was the King Alfred's Way build, the X that we did. What we're doing is we're having the standard graphics, so all of the Forwards graphics, which I'll talk about to start with. That'll probably make things easier. So we have the Forwards graphic around the bottom of the top tube. That's 10mm tall if anyone wants to geek out. And then we have the Forwards graphics on the down tube there. So that's standard, that's 30mm tall. And then we have the one, or whichever model bike it will be, on the top tube there, just in front of the seat collar, or the seat wedge, should I say. Then the little Union Jack behind the seat tube is normal, just there. And then we have the build on the inside of the chainstay as normal. So this is build 54, and then it's Beryl Burton number 1. So they will be in sequence. So it will be the build number in sequence of our build. So we've done 54 bikes now. And then the BB Beryl Burton, and it's number 1. So if you had the second one, obviously at number 2 there, that's pretty obvious. So that's how we do our graphics as normal. And then the added bits, which is what Neil's done, Neil Wyatt, at Handmade Cyclist. So he's got his logo at the front, a little heron on the front there. So that's there, which just looks fantastic with the forwards graphics. And then what he's done is he's copied the stripes, and these colours and stuff are based on Beryl Burton's the cycling club she used to ride for. So we've got her colours there for the team, her team kit on the actual frame, which just slashes across there, and that's how Neil's represented that. I love the details at the bottom there, around the bottom of the fork being just black, so that blends in lovely with the hub and then comes up through the fork leg. And then the details I sort of added in when I was working with Stuart, who's our painter, is that I've done the measurement from the centre of the crank, the axle up to the top of the wheel, and then that's where we've got the stripe starting for the top of the fork, and you'll see that carries on with the other bike, which we've got hidden behind the curtain there. So that's how we've done that, and there is a little bit of extra special bit in the paint, which I'll show you in a minute. So on the top here, we've got one of her famous sort of slogans. I just can't rest unless I'm doing something, which is Beryl Burton's quote. And that, to be honest, that's how Jenny is in general. So I think that suits her down to a T when she reads that as she's riding along. Hopefully you won't be reading it too much, because obviously she won't be paying attention. And then we've continued that stripe theme along the top. So we go from the sort of baby bluey colour, and then into the black, into the white, into the black and the blue, and then the black stripe again. I mean, Neil's artwork is just sublime, and it comes up on the bike so nicely. And then down here, so we go through the one, as we've already discussed, just there. And then we have Handmade Cyclist on the wraparound, around the seat tube. And then we have Handmade Cyclist on the chainstay. And then you can see there we've got the shield. So we've put our shield there. This is gloss finish. We do the shield in two finishes now. We do it in gloss or matte, depending on the finish of the bike. And then we've got an extra piece here. I've put quite a lot on this. So there's an extra long piece there, long piece around, which wraps around the chainstay. And then on the 2x bikes, I always pop a bit under here as well. So if for any reason you get a little bit of chain flicking up or suck or anything, it just protects the frame. And then a little bit on the back side there of the front, just in case we have any sort of bangs or knocks or drops or anything like that. We'll talk about the group set in a second. Obviously the build on the inside there. On the opposite side of the stay from the other side, you'll see Handmade Cyclist there as well. We'll see that in the photography. We'll do the photo shoot a bit later on today. So that's the sort of frame details. And then we've gone with the stainless steel in black. So black gloss stainless steel fittings. So the little aero head ones there. And then we've got the little lock washer underneath as well, if anyone wants to hear me mention my washers and lock washers, so that's there. And then when we go to bottle cage, we will put the oversized washer on there, the 12mm washer. This is just the small washer, just for setting it up for the photo shoot. Obviously this has got the newer group set, the new 12 speed. Well, I say obviously, I haven't talked about that yet, but it has got that. And then we've got the blanking cover over the port. So normally in there you'd have, on some of the older builds we've done, we've got the 11 speed stuff. You have your junction A there, which is where you plug into charge. And then your blank there, which we don't use on our builds. And then we've done external cable routing for easy maintenance on it, for the headset and stuff. So that's what this is rolling with. So let's talk about the finishing kit quickly. There's some nice new stuff on this, which I think we're one of the first sort of people to be doing. As you know, we always use Pro, so all of our finishing kit is the Pro series, and then we have the different ranges for the different bikes, and you've got upgrade options, etc. as well. So this has got the Pro PLT stuff. This is the brand new 2025 stems and bars. So that's what we fitted here. I love little details on the stem where you've got a closed gap. So what I mean there is that you can tighten this stem flat so that gap's shut. So you tighten them down to your 5 Newton meters, and then the bottom then is just tightened up to 5 Newton meters as well. I like that because it stops any any sort of mismatch of how you tighten the top. So you could have this a bit too wide and then the bottom a bit too tight. So I quite like that. So that's a nice detail that Pro have done. And it looks a bit more modern. The old LT stuff and the PLT stuff was a bit dated. I say a bit dated, really dated. So this is really, really nice, bit chunkier. So that's the new PLT stuff. So this stem on this particular build at the moment is an 80 mil. Jenny's fit does say that she can go with 100 or a 90. So we will be getting those stems in for her to try, but at the time of recording, they didn't have a 90 or 100 in to start with. And also her current fit is using a 70 stem. So she's got a really short stem on her gravel bike. I didn't want to stretch her out too far to start with. So we'll just try out a few different stems. And it's the same as the stack height as well. So with our spacers under there, I've just put a 15 mil for now, and then a 10 mil on the top, our standard chimney, just so we've got the full carbon post steerer going all the way through nicely. So I've got the 15 under there at the moment, but we can sort of change that. We've got a lot of data recorded with different stem lengths to work out what's going to be good for a fit. But that's how I set it for the moment. So 80 mil stem, but we're going to try a 90 and 100. And then we got the UD carbon. We do have the gloss finish for the spacers, and then the UD. And I've done a little bit of a different stem cap on this build. So this is the JRC components, aluminium. So this is like the hills or the mountains design, the aluminium machined one. And I've done that because it's a totally flush cap. And I've sort of cheated with a bike a little bit, that I've got quite a lot of steerer underneath here. And then to be able to preload the cap, I wanted to have a flush mount, so I couldn't fit the carbon cap that I'd already spec'd for it. So that's why we've got that there for the sec, but it does look really cool. And then as you do a build with us, you do have the option of which cap to have anyway. Bar wise, she's got a 38. It's a 380 mil, which is through her secret conversations with her, she's really excited to go back to a 38. She used to have that on a road bike beforehand, so to go back to a 38 should fit her like a glove. It's going to be really nice. Bar tape on it, it's got the BHT 14, so the 2mm bar tape, figure of 8 wrap around the levers there, and then I've done the little fade into the bar, and then I've given it spacing at the front so that we can read Pro and PLT on the front of it. And then these are 50 mil either side, and then I mark it on the underside. So 50mm between those two, so that's all matched nice. And then that does give us a nice view of the brand new stem from Pro, sorry, the computer mount from Pro. These are awesome, and these are going to be stocked in the shop for all of the builds that we're doing, because as I've already said, that all the stems we use on our builds are Pro, and in this Pro stem mount, computer mount, works with all of the stems that we do other than the Vibe Carbon. So it won't work with that, but it works for everything else. So the Discover stem, PLT stem, the Koyak stems, all that sort of stuff, it's going to go really well with. So it's adjustable angle, so you can change it if you're an aero geek. So I've tipped it down slightly. Comes with Wahoo mounts, Garmin mounts, and then the Byron mount as well. And then you can have it forward or backwards for the little insert, so you can have your different size computers. And then it mounts really, really nicely into the stem down there. Exactly the same as the JRC stuff, but just gives us another sort of option for stems and stuff, which is really cool. So that's that. Just showing you the finishing kit again, just in a different order. Jenny loves the Ergon saddles. Didn't want to mess with that because she'll go absolutely mental at me. So I've stayed with the Ergon saddle, and then this is the SR Road Pro. So it's not too crazy price-wise. It hasn't got the carbon rails. It's got the tie rail on there, and then that's obviously her correct size. And then these are angles copied from what she has on her gravel bike. I took some pictures of that and then sort of did that. The bike's on a slight angle there, keeps turning around. And then that's got a standard 180 gram carbon seat post that we get from the factory, and that's the 20mm setback as well. And then this is her fit, as I've said, so that's the height of the saddle that she needs. That's on our version 2 software. And then the one frame comes with a little rubber top cap there, which just covers that up nicely. So that's that. So probably should get into group set. Let's talk about that. Don't worry if you think the levers look a bit weird and funny here. they do look a bit odd, and I kept sort of checking myself when I was looking at them that it looks like the lever's really low down, and it's not. It's that I've wound in the preload screw there to change the lever distance, the throw of the lever, because Jenny's obviously a bit smaller, as you can tell with a small bike, so that's her hands are quite small to be able to reach that, so I've dialed them in. So this is the brand new Ultegra 12-speed Di2 group set. This will be the first time she's done Di2 on a road bike. So 12-speed Di2 levers, and then that is wireless down to your mechanisms. And then what we've got is the Di2 12-speed front mech, which you'd imagine a 2x with the 2x Ultegra chain set. That's a 170mm crank length, so it matches what she's riding on her gravel bike. And then I've gone with the 50-34 for her ring size. And then Ultegra chain. Chain will be waxed in a moment. I've just put this on standard lube from the factory, and that's how we build all our bikes. So we put them in first, do all the gear tuning so the gears are perfect with a oiled chain or greased chain from factory, and then we wax it afterwards, because as you know, if you're a waxer, that it can be tricky to do the gears with a brand new waxed chain because the chain's quite stiff until it's bedded in. So that's how I've done that, but that will be done in a second. And then we've got the Ultegra 11 34 rear cassette, so that'll give her a nice 1-to-1 gear change. Gear ratio for climbing. And then we've got the Ultegra Di2 rear mech. And then we've changed out this, so if you were a fan of our little O-rings, we've changed using the O-ring now, which we used to put around here to hold the cable down nicely, as you can see. The problem we were finding with the O-rings is they were cracking. So over time, it cracked. It was a great idea, but they just cracked, which was useless, and just looked untidy. So we've now just used these micro zip ties just to go in there. I know that some of you keyboard warriors out there will be saying, oh yeah, but you can get the proper clip that goes in here. Well, it doesn't work very well with the bike and where we got the output there. It goes really tight through here, and then we get like a big loop here, which we don't like. So I prefer the nice gentle arch there with a little tie, and then it will just sweep up nicely into the frame. And then as we're pointing in this area, this is the brand new bungs that they're providing with our frames. These are really good. They're quite deep. They're about 10mm deep. So they're not going to get lost or fall out. So these are brand new on the new build, which is pretty cool in there. So that's that. I will turn the bike around to talk about brakes. So it's a good idea to do that now. So let's just switch that round, and then. So there we go. Just spun the bike around quickly. What we've got on here is Ultegra calipers, as you'd expect. So these are the brand new calipers that come with the group set. These give you 10% more clearance on your pad, so you get less rubbing. And then the XTR 140 rotors, so she's got that on the back, and then a matching 140 rotor on the front, and then the Ultegra caliper there as well. So that's that side. Just the 6mm Allen key axles, if you've just seen them and you're interested. So that's those just there. Bottom bracket on this one, we've got the Praxis. It's worth just showing you that on this side. So Praxis bottom bracket, and then currently we've got the ABEX 3 bearing, which is the standard bearing that comes with the bottom bracket. And then of course what we do is we offer the upgrades when it comes to that time when the first bearings wear out. We could stick an ABEX 5 in there and then get that swapped out for you as well. So let's switch it back around again, and then we'll talk about the tyres and the wheels. Okay, so back around the other side, we can see the wheels and the tyres. So wheel-wise, these are the Hunt Aero 40s, so the Carbon Aero 40 road wheels. If I just get it to focus, there you go. And then you've obviously got your hub down there. So I will do a sound check in a minute. Anyone who's interested, they're loud. The cassette on these are super loud. Tyre-wise, wrap these in Vittoria Corsa Next. So I've been getting on really well with these. Customers are using them as well. It's our chosen sort of like spec tyre for the one. You can have it in different sizes. So you can have it in a 30 or a 32. I've gone with a 30 for this build. We've done some builds with 30 front and rear, 30 on the front, 32 on the rear, and then we've also done some builds with 32. So depending on the sort of riding you're doing and then how much comfort you want versus speed, etc., there's different options how we do that. I've got 100 mil of sealant in this. It's quite a bit. You only need 60 really, but I've gone with a little bit more to give a bit more protection in there with extra sealant. And then also on the builds now, there's an option for us changing out the valve caps and the core, should I say. So these have got the brand new Schwalbe click in them. So the click valves, which are absolutely awesome. I'm going to do a separate video of these in just a second, and then I'll link that video in the description underneath. But these are the new Schwalbe valves, which are just brilliant. Going to make her life much easier when she comes to pumping her tyres up and stuff. So that's pretty cool. So we've got those on there as well. And then we use the muck-off core, the stem on those wheels as well. So that's that. And then the rear one obviously is just matching. And we did go 30-30 on these. So this is the 30 rear tyre with the same wheel. If I can get down there and have a look at the hub. So that's that. That's probably everything. Let's just come back out again and have a look and see if I've forgotten anything. Don't think I have. So that's it. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Sorry it's got really long. I'm really out of practice doing them, so I've gone waffling on. So there you go. So the very first Beryl Burton design from the Handmade Cyclist that we've done on the bike. Oh, actually, what I did forget to talk about is this with the paintwork. So what we've done with the paint, if you can see, it'll look better in the sunshine, is that it's got a clear coat on it, which has got a pearl in it. So it's got a pearl finish. So although this is black, it was a flat back when it was painted. In the sunlight, you can just about see there, it will sparkle. So the whole bike has got that. So all over the white, this has all got a pearl in there as well. And then we've gone crazy with the gloss. So it's got sort of 3 coats of gloss on there as well, which is what I asked Stuart to do on it. So there you go. So Jenny's brand new bike. She knows nothing about it. Hopefully she's not going to kill me. Otherwise I won't be able to build any more bikes. There you go. Let's wrap that one up and then get on to the next video. Bye for now.